more wild horses are dying from the equine flu, the protest that's now scheduled over their treatment by the Bureau of Land Management. Aurora has a new camping ban, and the city is meeting tonight to finalize how it will be enforced.
You can't move people now unless we have the room for them.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is trying to justify the war in Ukraine as the U.S. and our allies announce new sanctions.
Focus on Game 4 right now. We can't, worry about going home.
And the Avs are looking to sweep the Predators tonight and move on to the next round of the playoffs. Plus, it's back-to-back MVPs for the Joker. More wild horses are dying from the equine flu at the Bureau of Land Management facility in Canyon City. At least 7 more died over the weekend, bringing the total number of deaths close to 140 since late April. The BLM says the horses were rounded up last summer and only partially vaccinated. Now, this is a story we've been following for weeks, and today a new wrinkle. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live to talk about the protest that's planned over how these horses are being treated.
Yeah, Jason, this protest is in response to those deaths. It's to raise awareness about the dangers of holding these horses in captivity. Now, we know that these animals have been dying over the past 2 weeks because of the equine influenza. Well, the American Wild Horse Campaign says that the horses that died were rounded up by the BLM last summer. But the BLM is defending its decision on these roundups, saying that they're necessary to prevent overpopulation and overgrazing. And we also spoke to a horse trainer who says that she understands their position, but something needs to be done.
Personally, we work with the BLM pretty closely. I have for years, and I do think that they're doing the best they can with limited funds and very limited resources. Doesn't mean that change doesn't need to happen, but where we can help is getting these horses adapted so that they're not all sitting in holding facilities. I'd love to see a manageable number in the wild.
And the BLM did hold an adoption event last month. Now that rally will take place in front of their office in Lakewood today at 2. Reporting live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
A lot of people interested in this topic, Christian, thank you. And we recently went 360 on this topic. You can see our other stories and submit your opinion up on thedenverchannel.com/opinion. Now, 360 Your Opinion is our new project to hear from stakeholders, experts, and community members about topics like this one. Cherry Creek Reservoir is closed to boating today, so search teams can look for the body of a 29-year-old man. CPW says the man was tubing Saturday night when he fell off and went underwater. Teams will be using drones and sonar to search for the body.
So there's a lot of technology that goes into it, and then the tracking aspect of GPS of everywhere that they're searching.
What makes an operation like this so difficult?
The bottom of the reservoir is very sandy, which is helpful. But the marine environment is constantly changing.
Now, CPW says the man was not wearing a life jacket. They say they don't know how long the search will go. They're going to reevaluate after today. A former Greenwood Village police officer accused of shooting and killing an Aurora teenager will be in court this afternoon. Adam Holen is charged with second-degree murder. Court documents say he was drunk the night he and a 17-year-old fought and started shooting at each other. Holden told police he was confronting a group of teens about their careless driving. Aurora's urban camping ban has been in effect now for a week, and the city council is meeting to revise some of it already. As Denver 7's Veronica ACOSTA reports, there are enforcement issues that need to be addressed.
Today, Aurora City Council plans on discussing 2 different things. So the first one is going to be a potential contract with the company that'll help clean up these encampments. And the second is where personal items will be stored. Now, despite those discussions that are scheduled to happen, those cleanups, they have already started. Just this past Friday, Aurora City staff told me 6 notices were issued to remove encampments. Those 6 were the first to be issued since the ordinance went into effect. This was back on April 30th. Of those notices, 25 to 30 people were expected to be moved. Staff said they had enough shelter space for all of them. Part of what council members will discuss today is approving a contract with an Englewood company that'll help conduct those cleanups. They'll also approve where those personal items go. Right now, the plan is for those to be stored over at the Aurora Day Resource Center for at least up to 1 year. I spoke with 2 council members, one who voted in favor of this, one who voted against the ordinance. They're still very much on opposite ends. One saying there should have been more planning going into this, the other telling us simply having a ban in place will help bring change.
This entire ordinance was passed without having a fiscal note, meaning we had no idea how much it was going to cost, and without actually having a plan to implement it. In our role as policymakers, it's our responsibility to do our due diligence, to work closely with staff to actually develop a plan, fully flesh that out before we actually deliver a policy for council to vote on.
I think that there was a plan. I definitely think that there was a plan. I also think too that at least putting the ordinance in place and letting the city of Aurora know and letting the citizens know that, it shows that we are taking this very seriously.
Aurora City Council is expected to have their meeting tonight at 6:30, and of course we'll keep you updated on the changes that come of that urban camping ban. We're in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica, ACOSTA, Denver 7.
Happening today at the state capitol, lawmakers are hoping to pass several bills before the legislative session ends on Wednesday. Some of those bills include one with tougher penalties for fentanyl users and dealers. That will be heard in the House today. Also in the House, lawmakers will hear a bill that would create a Department of Safety dedicated to investigating cases of missing and murdered Indigenous people. And a bill to ban the sale of flavored nicotine has its first hearing in a Senate committee. The U.S. Senate is expected to vote on Wednesday to federally protect abortion rights, but the measure will almost certainly fail because Democrats don't have the 60 votes needed to overcome a filibuster. Now, this is in response to that leaked Supreme Court draft opinion, which suggests the justices could overturn Roe v. Wade. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a massive ceremony in Moscow's Red Square commemorating Victory Day, marking Russia's triumph over Nazi Germany in World War II. As ACOSTA reports, Putin also used that ceremony to try to change the narrative about the war in Ukraine.
Today, President Vladimir Putin, along with thousands, gathering in Russia's Red Square for Victory Day, a patriotic holiday commemorating Russia's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II.
Вы сражаетесь за родину.
Putin using his speech to try to justify his attacks on Ukraine, saying that they're responding to NATO aggression and that they're fighting for the security of our homeland. Still, Putin didn't escalate his rhetoric as some experts feared, never formally declaring war, a victory in Ukraine, or even what his next plans are. He also chose not to threaten Western countries. Ukrainian President Zelensky countering Putin by releasing a video of him walking an empty, barricaded street in Kyiv, saying, "We will not give anyone a single piece of our history." Zelensky also meeting virtually with the G7 leaders, including President Biden, the group announcing new sanctions on Russia, promising to cut off imports of Russian oil, sanctioning on Russian state TV networks, and imposing a ban on consulting and other services that support Russia's war. Elsewhere over the weekend, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden with a surprise Mother's Day visit to Ukraine.
I thought it was important to show the Ukrainian people that this war has to stop. And this war has been brutal.
That brutality ever present in the southeastern port city of Mariupol, where bombs continue to bombard the steel plant as the last Ukrainian troops are still holding out against Russian forces. So far, the Red Cross is reporting that over 600 civilians have been evacuated from that steel plant and the Mariupol area since May 1st. Now, altogether, the organization has helped facilitate the safe passage of more than 10,000 Ukrainian civilians from the region. Ika Jaji, ABC News, Washington.
Here at home, the town of Superior will discuss how the Marshall Fire is impacting its budget tonight. The town says most stores have reopened since the fire, but sales tax revenue through February is down nearly 25%. Now, two stores that are top sales tax generators, Target and Tesla, will stay closed well into this year. The town has a city council meeting at 6 o'clock tonight. Now, keep this in mind if you get a text from the city of Denver. Testing of Denver's emergency alert notification system starts today. The tests are to make sure the services are working in case of a real emergency. People who already signed up for alerts will get a message on their phone sometime before May 21st. You can sign up for those alerts at denvergov.org/emergency testing. Sports Now, ESPN is reporting Nuggets star Nikola Jokic is the NBA's MVP for the second year in a row. Not really that huge of a surprise for us here locally, given that his stats this year, they were better than last year's MVP campaign. He averaged career highs of about 27 points per game, nearly 14 rebounds per game. He also became the first NBA player with 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in a single season. The Joker is the 14th player in league history to win the MVP multiple times. He's actually the second straight winner to go back-to-back. The Avs, meanwhile, are one game away from advancing to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're going for the sweep tonight in Nashville. They will likely be without starting goaltender Darcy Kemper because of a freak stick-to-the-eye injury. They hope to have him back later in the playoffs. But the Avs, they aren't changing their game plan.
So much confident in both our goalies. We don't have to change anything in our game. You know, we're not trying to step up and you know, deter more shots. It's the same game for us.
I think we have a really strong team, and we were alternating with Darcy the whole year, so I feel like I can play behind this team.
The Avs have outscored the Predators 16-6 in the first 3 games of this series. Only 4 teams in league history have come back to win a playoff series after being down 3-0. Puck drops at 7:30 tonight. It might cost you more to fill up your gas tank. Still ahead, gas prices are spiking again, this time right before the summer, and are inching closer in some places to $5 a gallon. Plus, a fossil millions of years old is leaving town.